I'll call the City Council to order at 8 o'clock on Monday evening, August 18th, 2025. This meeting is being recorded. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have 31 items on this evening's agenda, and I will ask the clerk to please read agenda item number 1.
Minutes of the City Council meeting, July 21st, 2025.
Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept and place on file the minutes.
Motion's made and seconded to accept and place on file the minutes. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The minutes are filed. The vote is 10-0. Agenda item number 2.
Now is the time for the public hearing on the application for a special permit from Attorney Brian Falk on behalf of Farm Road Realty Trust and Evangelist Roofing to operate a contractor's yard in a pre-existing non-conforming building in the Airport Industrial Park at 17 Airport Boulevard, Unit 20, order number 25-100, 9512.
Councilors, Attorney Falk is upstairs. I'll entertain a motion to move agenda items 2 and 3 to later in the agenda when Attorney Falk becomes available. Councilor Roby.
Thank you. I'll move to move agenda item 2 and 3 later on the agenda to accommodate Attorney Falk.
Motion made and seconded to move items 2 and 3 to later in our agenda. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? These items will be moved to later in the agenda. The vote is 10-0. Agenda item number 4.
Communication from the mayor regarding gift acceptance in the amount of $10,000 from the estate of Miss Donna J. Colaccio awarded to the police department for the purchase of bulletproof vests for the K-9 unit.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to approve the gift, and thank you to the estate of Donna J. Colaccio for the generous gift. Thank you.
Motion made and seconded to approve the gift. Any discussion on the motion? Councilor Orem.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise only because I know Donna very well. I went to school with her at Marlboro High, and I won't say what year, but she was my cooking partner when I took the cooking class. She's a great person. I've known her through the years. I just want to thank her from the bottom of my heart. I'm sure all the city councilors want to. And what a great idea, a bulletproof vest for our police dog. Fantastic. I just want to announce that I'm very grateful that Donna did this for the city of Marlboro. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Orem. Any other discussion on the item? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The gift's approved. The vote is 10-0. Agenda item number 5.
Communication from the mayor regarding grant acceptances from the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security for fiscal year 2026 awarded to the police department as follows. A State 911 Department training grant in the amount of $199,964 to be used to offset personnel overtime costs in the Public Safety Dispatching Center. B State 911 Department training grant in the amount of $66,229.27 to be used to offset personnel training costs in the Public Safety Dispatching Center. And C, it's State 911 Department Emergency Medical Dispatch grant in the amount of $33,825 to be used for equipment, quality assurance reviews of dispatch personnel, and to offset overtime costs.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to approve all 3 grants, please.
Motion's made and seconded to approve all 3 grants. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The 3 grants are approved, and the vote is 10-0. Agenda item number 6.
Communication from the mayor regarding a transfer request in the amount of $158,406.42, which moves funds from reserve for salaries to various accounts to fund the recently ratified agreement with the Marlboro Public Works Equipment Operators Association.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to refer to the Finance Committee, please. Motion
Made and seconded to refer to the Finance Committee. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? This item's going to Finance. The vote is 10-0. Agenda item number 7.
Communication from the mayor regarding proposed order to authorize the mayor to enter into an intermunicipal agreement with the town of Shrewsbury for the purpose of participation in the Central Massachusetts Regional Stormwater Coalition.
Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. With the support of our engineer, DePercio, I would like to move to approve this item.
Motion's made and seconded to approve letting the mayor enter into the intermunicipal agreement with the town of Shrewsbury. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The matter is approved, and the vote is 10-0. Agenda item number 8.
Communication from the mayor regarding the reappointment of David Georgie as police chief for a 4-year term effective August 21, 2025 to expire on August 21st, 2029.
Councilor Navin.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I think I speak for all of us when we say we're thrilled to see that an employment agreement has been reached with the chief. He has led the department with distinction and a level of professionalism and responsiveness that I know we all in this room appreciate. And so with that, I would like to move to approve the employment agreement.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the appointment of Chief Georgie. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The appointment is approved. The vote is 10-0. Congratulations, Chief. He's with us for 4 more years. Agenda item number 9.
Communication from the mayor regarding notification of retirement of Fire Chief Kevin J. Breen, effective January 30th, 2026.
Councilor Navin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to accept and place on file.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the correspondence. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. The item is filed. The vote is 10-0. Agenda item number 10.
Communication from City Solicitor Jason Grossfield regarding a proposed order of acceptance of sidewalk easement relative to special permit condition number 9 for Cashman Street improvements from 272 Lincoln Street LLC.
Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to move to approve this item.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the acceptance of the sidewalk easement. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, of those in favor? Opposed? The sidewalk easement is approved. The vote is 10-0. Agenda item number 11.
Communication from City Solicitor Jason Grossfield regarding proposed order authorizing a regulatory agreement and declaration of restrictive covenants for rental project pursuant to special permit condition number 7 from 339 Boston Post Road, owner LLC.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. So this language just codifies what was in the special permit. We've accepted this on the floor before. I would move to approve the order of acceptance.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the order of acceptance. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The order is approved and the vote is 10-0. Agenda item number 12.
Communication from City Solicitor Jason Grossfield regarding proposed order of acceptance of grant of conservation restriction pursuant to special permit condition number 10 from 339 Boston Post Road, owner LLC.
Councilor Roby. Oh, well, Councilor
This
Brown?
Counselor Facillo, isn't it? Are we on number 13?
12.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm not paying attention to where we are. Move to approve the order.
Motion made and seconded to approve the condition number 7, which number 10, which delineates the open space over at the McGee property. Any discussion on the motion? Councilor Doucette.
I just want to make a comment, like, we keep on talking about how, conservation land is shrinking, but we're actually holding on to them based upon this covenant. So it's important to recognize that, that this is, being conserved for conservation lands in perpetuity or whatever, but great benefit, so thank you.
Well said. Thank you, Councilor Doucette. Anyone else? On the motion to approve the open space designation for the property at McGee Farm, which is condition number 10 in the special permit. All those in favor? Opposed? That order is approved. The vote is 10-0. And councilors, this one requires a signature, so Councilor Vital will start. If you could all sign it as it works its way around the chamber. You good? Mm-hmm. Item 13.
Communication from City Solicitor Jason Grossfield regarding application for a wireless special permit from Jerry Squires on behalf of Dish Wireless to install, operate, and maintain a wireless communications facility consisting of 9 antennas, 12 RRUs, 12 fiber cables, and ground equipment within a 100-square-foot lease area on and next to the water tank at 115 Onamog Street in proper legal form, or number 25-100-9432C.
Councilor Facillo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept and file the communication and move to agenda item 27.
Motion's made and seconded to accept and place on file the communication and move this item down to agenda item number 27. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none of those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. This is going down to agenda item number 27, and the item will be filed. Vote is 10-0. Agenda item 14.
Communication from City Solicitor Jason Grossfield regarding application for a special permit from Attorney Gemma Cashman on behalf of Royal 401 Elm Street LLC for the purpose of operating an approximate 203,500 square foot warehousing and distribution facility to be located at 415 Elm Street in proper legal form. Order number 25-100, 9434C.
Counselor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept the communication from the city solicitor and to move this down to agenda item number 31.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the communication and move this item down to agenda item number 31. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. This is going down to item 31, and the communication will be filed. Vote is 10-0. Agenda item 15.
Communication from Assistant City Solicitor Jeremy McManus regarding application for a special permit from 27 Curtis Ave Real Estate LLC for the proposed renovation and reconstruction of a pre-existing non-conforming car wash located at 27 Curtis Ave in proper legal form, order number 25-100, 9397E.
Counselor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept the communication from the Assistant City Solicitor and to move this to agenda number 29.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the communication and move this item down to agenda item number 29. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. This is going to agenda item number 29. The communication will be filed and the vote is 10-0. Agenda item 16.
Communication from Assistant City Solicitor Jeremy McManus regarding application for a special permit from Attorney Gemma Cashman on behalf of TV Marlboro LLC and Green Armory Laboratories, Inc. for the purpose of operating an independent marijuana testing laboratory to be located at 260 Cedar Hill Street in proper legal form, order number 25-100, 9433C.
Counselor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept the communication from Assistant City Solicitor and to move this to agenda item number 30.
Motion's made and seconded to accept and place on file the communication and move this item down to agenda item number 30. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. This is going to agenda item number 30. The communication will be filed and the vote is 10-0. Agenda item number 17.
Communication from the Planning Board regarding favorable recommendation on the proposed zoning amendment to Chapter 650 zoning to amend Section 17, Table of Uses, order number 25-100, 9477A.
Counselor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept and place on file the communication.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the communication. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Communication is filed and the vote is 10-0. Agenda item 18.
Communication from the Planning Board regarding favorable recommendation on proposed zoning amendment to Chapter 650 zoning to create the Ames Village Overlay District, order number 25-100, 9458A.
Counselor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept and place on file the communication.
Motion is made and seconded to accept and place on file the communication. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. This item is filed. The vote is 10-0. Agenda item 19.
Communication from Central Mass Mosquito Control Project regarding personnel will be in the community responding to residents concerned about mosquitoes on various dates in August 2025.
Counselor Oram.
Thank you, Mr. President. As we all probably have heard, West Nile virus is prevalent in the mosquito pools that they've been testing in this whole area, all Metro West, if not extended to all other areas too within Massachusetts. So they will be out spraying. You can call Central Mass Mosquito if you request individual spraying. That's what they're doing right now. They're not doing mass spraying, but let's hope people pay attention to the proper precautions when you're outside and stay away from mosquitoes. But the clerk will have it posted as well. Thank you, Mr. President. I would ask that we accept and place this notice on file.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the communication. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. The item's filed. The vote is 10-0. Agenda item number 20.
Petition of Mass Electric and Verizon to install one joint-owned pole on William Street, beginning at a point approximately 70 feet southeast of the center line of the intersection of William Street and Morrissey Road. Install new pole number 51-50 on William Street. Install EMR at pole 5150 on William Street.
Counselor Ficillo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to set a date for a public hearing on September 8th and advertise.
Motion is made and seconded to set a date for the public hearing of September 8th and to advertise. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Item will be advertised for a public hearing on September 8th and advertised, and the vote is 10-0. Agenda item number 21.
Communication from Saul Eduardo Carval on behalf of Chapa Paisa Restaurant at 203-205 Main Street for the use of city property for outside seating.
Counselor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to send this item to the Legislative and Legal Affairs Committee.
Motion's made and seconded to move this item to the Legislative and Legal Affairs Committee. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? This item's going to Legislative and Legal, and the vote is 10-0. Agenda item 22.
Minutes of boards, commissions, and committees.
Mr. President?
Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Motion to accept and place on file the minutes of the boards, commissions, and committees.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the minutes. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The minutes are filed. The vote is 10-0. 23.
Claims.
Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to send the claims to Legal Department.
Motion made and seconded to send the claims to the Legal Department. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Claims are going to legal, and the vote is 10-0. Reports of committees. Who would like to go first? Councilor Pacello.
Thank you, Mr. President. The City Council's Public Services Committee met on August 4th, 2025 at 7:30 p.m. We had one item on that evening's agenda, order number 25-100-9510, application for a second-hand junk dealer license by Jenny Hunt, DBA GE Gold Jewelry at 221 Boston Post Road East, Suite 270. The chair opened the meeting by reading an email from Police Chief David Georgie dated July 17th, 2025. Chief Georgie stated that he has no issues with the application, and present to answer questions was the applicant, Jenny Hunt. Councilor Doucette asked the applicant what type of business she would be operating. Ms. Hunt responded that she's a private jeweler and has opened an office at 221 Boston Post Road East. This is not a retail establishment, and the applicant says that she has been a part of the Marlboro business community for over 25 years. Councilor Irish asked if the applicant would be making and designing jewelry in the office. Ms. Hunt stated that she is not a designer, but only helps her customers decide what they want. Councilor Irish reviewed the site and the online reviews, and felt that there's adequate parking spaces and has no problem with the application. On a motion by Councilor Doucette, seconded by the chair, the committee recommends approval of the application for a second-hand junk dealer license for Jenny Hunt, DBA GE Gold Jewelry at 221 Boston Post Road East. The vote carried 3-0, and we adjourned at 7:33 p.m. That is the end of my report.
Thank you, Councilor Pacello. Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Finance Committee met on August 4th, 2025. Meeting convened at 7:45 p.m. We had two items on the agenda that evening. First item was order number 100-9505, transfer in the amount of $20,750 from reserve for salaries to various accounts, as outlined to fund the educational incentive portion of the recently ratified MMEA contract. Chair Irish read the communication from Mayor Dumas. On a motion by Councilor Brown, seconded by the chair, the Finance Committee recommends approval of the transfer in the amount of $20,750 from reserve for salaries to various accounts as outlined to fund the educational incentive portion of the recently ratified MMEA contract. The vote carried 4-0. Councilor Oram was absent. Next item was order number 100-9506, transfer in the amount of $240,733.22 from reserve for salaries to various accounts to fund the recently ratified collective bargaining agreement with the International Associations of Firefighters, AFL-CIO, CLC, Local 1714. Chair Irish read the communication from Mayor Dumas. On a motion by Councilor Brown, seconded by the chair, the Finance Committee recommends approval of the transfer in the amount of $240,733.22 from reserve for salaries to various accounts to fund the recently ratified collective bargaining agreement with the International Association of Firefighters, AFL-CIO, CLC, Local 1714. The vote carried 4-0. Councilor Oram was absent. The meeting adjourned at 7:51 p.m., and I will be asking for two suspensions this evening for both these items, Mr. President.
The chair has asked for suspensions for both items this evening. All those in favor of the suspension? Opposed? Both suspensions carry, and the vote is 10-0. Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. On order number Order number 100-9505, move the recommendation of committee to approve the transfer in the amount of $20,750, please.
Motion made and seconded to approve the transfer for $20,750 to fund the MMEA contract educational incentive. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Transfer is approved. The vote is 10-0. Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. On the next order, number 100-9506, move the recommendation of committee to approve the transfer request in the amount of $240,733.22, please.
Motion made and seconded to approve the transfer of $240,733.22 to fund the fire department contract. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The transfer is approved. The vote is 10-0. You're good? That's it?
Yep, thank you, Mr. President.
Who else? Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Urban Affairs and Housing Committee met on Monday, August 4th. We had 2 items on our agenda. They were taken out of order, with the first one being order number 25-100-9458, a communication from Attorney Brian Falk on behalf of the Gutierrez Company and the Marlboro Northborough Realty Trust regarding a proposed zoning amendment to Chapter 650 zoning to create the Ames Village overlay. Present for the applicant were Attorney Falk and Scott Weiss from Gutierrez. The chair read the letter from the Planning Board with its favorable recommendation for the zoning overlay, noting their suggestions listed in the letter would be taken up if the zoning overlay was approved and a special permit was applied for. The chair read through the language of the proposed amendment. Councilor Doucette questioned if we can amend the affordable numbers during the special permit process. The chair said the number is in the code and can't be amended. The chair questioned the statement in dimensional standards number 3 regarding no yard or setback requirements when they're specified in number 1. Attorney Falk responded that number 3 is referring to internal lot lines, and the site has multiple lot lines as it was subdivided for housing, and so it's just clarifying that those don't apply. The chair asked for explanation in H landscaping and the mention of the code that does not apply. Attorney Falk explained that 650-40F8 is essentially having apartment buildings have roughly level landscape lawns equivalent to their largest floor area, and that they have set aside a minimum of 4 acres in its natural vegetative state, so they don't feel that they need to include that extra landscaped area. And in 650-18A9, it's an additional requirement for landscaped and recreational area for multifamily properties where they need to have a 25-foot landscape strip along the frontage of Ames and Forest, and then a 50-foot strip along the side and rear lot lines. And again, they felt they were providing enough green space. There was discussion on parking requirement in section 1 with the minimum of 1.5 spaces per unit. And with this agreement, if there is a special permit, we can have that discussion. Councilor Frachilla moved to approve the proposed zoning amendment to Chapter 650 to create the Ames Village Overlay District, seconded by the chair. The motion carried 4-1. I will be asking for a suspension this evening to refer this to the solicitor to be put in proper form. And the second order was number 25-100-9477, a communication from Assistant Solicitor Jeremy McManus on behalf of President Ossing regarding the proposed amendment to filling the blanks in Section 650-17, Table of Uses. This was brought to us due to discovery of multiple zoning blank spaces in the code. President Ossing worked with the solicitor to fill in the blanks. The chair read the letter from the Planning Board with its favorable recommendation and suggestion that we change the classification for coffee roastery in the neighborhood business district from N, not allowed, to SP, special permit. Councilor Doucette moved to approve the proposed amendment to Section 17, Table of Uses, with the amendment to the listing of coffee roastery in NB from current N to special permit. The chair seconded, and the motion carried 5-0. And again, I will ask for a suspension. It was suggested by the chair this go back to the solicitor to be put in proper form.
The Chair of Urban Affairs has asked for 2 suspensions for both these orders. All those in favor of the suspension? Opposed? Both suspensions are approved. The vote is 10-0. Councilor Roby.
Move to refer order number 25-100-9458 to the solicitor to be put in proper form.
Motion made and seconded to approve, or to send the Ames Village Overlay District to the solicitor to be put in proper format. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. It'll be sent to the solicitor. The vote is 10-0. Councilor Roby.
Move to refer order number 25-100-9477, the communication regarding filling in the blanks, to the solicitor to be put in proper form.
Motion made and seconded to send the solicitor the zoning change for filling in the blanks to be placed in proper legal form. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? That motion carries. This is going to the solicitor, and the vote is 10-0. Are there any other reports of committees? Seeing none, agenda item number 24.
Order number 24-100-9327, the reappointments to the Zoning Board of Appeals with terms to expire as follows. Ralph Lofton, term to expire February 24th, 2027. Thomas Golden, term to expire February 24th, 2027. Robert Levine, term to expire February 24th, 2028. And Thomas Pope, term to expire September 12th, 2026. Recommendation of the Personnel Committee is to approve.
Councilor Navin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move the recommendation of committee.
Motion's made and seconded to move the recommendation of the committee, which is to approve the appointment of the 4 ZBA members. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The motion to approve the 4 ZBA members is approved, and the vote is 10-0. Agenda item number 25.
Order number 25-100-9491, the appointment of Peter B. Welsh to the Historical Commission for a 3-year term to expire June 19th, 2028. Recommendation of the Personnel Committee is to approve.
Councilor Navin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move the recommendation of committee.
Motion is made and seconded to move the recommendation of the committee, which is to approve the appointment to the Historical Commission. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The appointment to the Historical Commission is approved, and the vote is 10-0. Agenda item number 26.
Order number 25-100-9492, the appointment of Deborah Jakubowski Russ to the Library Board of Trustees for a 3-year term to expire on February 1st, 2028.
Councilor
Apologies if I
Navin.
butchered it.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move the recommendation of committee.
Motion made and seconded to approve the recommendation of the committee, which is to appoint the Deb Russ to the library trustee. How's that?
Oh, I cheated, yeah. Okay.
All right. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The appointment carries, and the vote is 10-0. Okay. Agenda item 27.
Order number 25-100-9432, application for a wireless special permit from Jerry Squires on behalf of Dish Wireless to install, operate, and maintain a wireless communication facility consisting of 9 antennas, 12 RRUs, 12 fiber cables, and ground equipment within a 100-foot square lease on and next to the water tank at 115 Onamog Street. Public hearing was held on June 9, 2025, and the recommendation of the Public Services Committee is to approve as amended.
Councilor Ficillo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move the recommendation of committee to approve as amended.
Motion's made and second to approve the recommendation of the committee as amended. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I will ask the clerk to please read the conditions.
The City Council, pursuant to its authority under Mass General Law, Chapter 48, and the City of Marlborough zoning ordinance, grants to the applicant a special permit for the construction of the use of a wireless communication facility on the existing water tank at the site, subject to the following conditions, which conditions shall be binding on the applicant and successors and/or assigns. 1, construction in accordance with applicable laws. Construction of all structures on the site shall be in accordance with all applicable building codes and zoning regulations in effect in the City of Marlborough and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and the use shall be built according to the plans as may be amended during site plan review. 2, site plan review. The issuance of the special permit is further subject to detailed site plan review by the Site Plan Review Committee in accordance with the City of Marlborough Site Plan Review Ordinance prior to the issuance of the building permit. Any additional changes, alterations, modifications, or amendments as required during the process of site plan review shall be further conditions attached to the building permit, and no occupancy permit shall be issued until the applicant has complied with all conditions. Subsequent site plan review shall be consistent with the conditions of the special permit, and the plans submitted, reviewed, and approved by the City Council as a special permit granting authority. 3, incorporation of submissions. All plans, photo renderings, site evaluations, briefs, and other documentation provided by the applicant as part of the application and as amended or revised during the application hearing process before the City Council and/or the City Council's Public Services Committee are herein incorporated into and become part of this special permit and become conditions and requirements of the same, unless otherwise altered by the City Council. 4, compliance with applicable laws. the applicant and successors and/or assigns agrees to comply with all municipal, state, and federal rules, regulations, and ordinances as they may to apply to the construction, maintenance, and operation of the use. 5, all work performed on the site shall comply with this decision. No other building or construction or activity, including but not limited to any other communication devices, WCF, tower, etc., shall occur without further modification of this special permit. This condition shall be interpreted consistent with federal law governing WCFs. 6, no signage or advertising of any sort shall be permitted as part of the use. 7, the applicant shall comply with all applicable conditions for WCFs as set forth in section 650-25F, each of which shall constitute conditions of this special permit. 8, any installation, modification, or maintenance of antenna equipment on the tank shall be coordinated with the Utility Service Company, Inc., the city's contracted water tank maintenance vendor, to ensure no interference with the city's maintenance obligations or tank integrity. All antenna installations shall be subject to prior review and approval by Utility Service Company, Inc., Incorporated, pursuant to the city's USC contract referenced in finding of fact number 9 above. Any co-location or equipment installation must comply with the terms and conditions of the city's USC contract as amended. The applicant shall be responsible for the temporary removal and reinstallation of its antennas and associated equipment if such a removal is necessary to accommodate required maintenance, inspection, or renovation of the water tank as determined by the city or its tank maintenance contractor. Costs associated with such removal shall be borne by the applicant. And 9, in accordance with the provisions of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 48, Section 11, the applicant and successors and/or assigns at its expense shall record this special permit in the Middlesex South Registry of Deeds after the city clerk has certified that the 20-day period for appealing the special permit has elapsed with no appeal having been filed, and before the applicant has applied to the building commissioner for a building permit. Upon recording, the applicant shall forthwith provide a copy of the recorded special permit to the city council office, the building department, and the city solicitor's office.
Councilors, you heard the conditions. Is there any other comments or questions on the motion to approve the special permit for Dish Wireless at 115 Onamog? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote. I will ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Councilor Preciado.
Yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Yes.
Councilor Fucillo.
Yes.
Councilor Navin.
Yes.
Councilor Irish.
Yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Yes.
Councilor Roby. Councilor Oram.
Yes.
Councilor Vidal.
Yes.
Councilor Brown.
Yes.
10 yeas.
The motion to approve the special permit for Dish Wireless at 115 Onamog is approved by a vote of 10-0. 28.
Order number 25-100,
Excuse me,
949.
Mr. President, Attorney Falk is here. Do you want to have them do those, or you want to wait to get through all of
because
this?
we're on a roll. I'm not going to stop carrying moving.
Order number 25-100, 9496, request for the approval of a master sign plan for various signs pursuant to Chapter 650-37I1A of the City Code for the McDonald's restaurant to be located at 735 Boston Post Road East in the Wayside Zoning District. Recommendation of the Urban Affairs Committee is to approve the master sign plan with the smaller 6x5 monument sign.
Mr. President?
Councilor Doucette.
Please show the record that I'm recusing from this vote.
Let the record reflect that Councilor Doucette will not be participating. Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move the recommendation of committee to approve the master sign plan for McDonald's.
Motion's made and seconded to approve the McDonald's sign plan. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The sign plan is approved. The vote is 9 in favor with 1 abstention. Agenda item number 28. 29.
Order number 25-100, 9397E, application for a special permit from 27 Curtis Ave LLC for the proposed renovation and reconstruction of a pre-existing non-conforming car wash located at 27 Curtis Avenue. Recommendation of the Urban Affairs Committee is to approve as amended.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move the recommendation of committee to approve the special permit for the car wash.
Motion made and seconded to approve the special permit for the car wash. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing Councilor Oram.
I hope I read this right. In reviewing this, it mentions 24/7 in one of the conditions, if I'm not mistaken. Are we allowing a car wash to operate 24/7?
I believe that one does now. I mean, it's just a manual, go in, drive in, and wash.
It's for the entire place or just the manual washing? Is it for the automatic?
That's for the entire site.
The entire site?
Yep.
And that does concern me, late at night, summer like tonight, the windows are open, so I just want to voice my concern on the 24/7. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to please read the conditions.
City Council, pursuant to its authority under Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 48, and the zoning ordinance of the City of Marlborough, hereby grants the applicant a special permit for a car wash at 27 Curtis Avenue, as shown on the plans filed, subject to the following conditions, which conditions shall be binding on the applicant. 1, construction in accordance with applicable laws. Construction of all structures on the site is to be in accordance with all applicable building codes and zoning regulations in effect in the City of Marlborough and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and shall be built according to the plans as may be amended during site plan review. 2, site plan review. The issuance of the special permit is further subject to detailed site plan review by the Site Plan Review Committee in accordance with the City of Marlborough Site Plan Review Ordinance prior to the issuance of the building permit. Any additional changes, alterations, modifications, or amendments as required during the process of site plan review shall be further conditions attached to the building permit, and no final occupancy permit shall be issued until the applicant has complied with all conditions. Provided, however, that subsequent to the issuance of the special permit and site plan approval, the Site Plan Review Committee may authorize the phasing of site and building work depending upon weather conditions and other factors. Subsequent site plan review shall be consistent with the conditions of this special permit and the plans submitted, reviewed, and approved by the City Council as a special permit granting authority. 3, modification of plans, notwithstanding conditions 1 and 2 above. The City Council or the Site Plan Review Committee may approve engineering changes to the plans, so long as said changes do not change the use as approved herein, or materially increase the impervious area of the use, reduce the green area, or increase the size of the building, all as shown on the plans. 4, incorporation of submissions. All plans, photo renderings, site evaluations, briefs, and other documentation provided by the applicant as part of the application and is amended or revised during the application hearing process before the City Council and/or City Council's Urban Affairs Committee are herein incorporated into and become part of this special permit and become conditions and requirements of the same unless otherwise altered by the City Council. Excuse me. 5, stormwater and erosion control management. The applicant shall ensure that its site superintendent during construction of this project is competent in stormwater and erosion control management. This individual's credentials shall be acceptable to the engineering division of the city's Department of Public Works and the city's Conservation Commission. This individual shall be responsible for checking the site before, during, and after storm events, including weekends and evenings when storms are predicted. This individual shall ensure that no untreated stormwater leaves the site consistent with the state's and city's stormwater regulations. This individual shall ensure compliance with the approved sequence of construction plan and the approved erosion control plan. The applicant shall grant this individual complete authority of the site as it relates to stormwater and erosion controls. 6, hours. The maximum hours of operation of the use at this site shall be 24 hours per day, 7 days per week. 7, water and sewer connections. The applicant shall install and maintain a water reclamation and recycling system to be approved during site plan review and shall obtain and maintain a sewer discharge permit from the Department of Public Works. 8, landscaping. A detailed landscaping plan for the site shall be reviewed and further conditioned during site plan review process. The landscaping plan shall be more robust than is required by the zoning ordinance and shall improve aesthetics along East Main Street, provide a buffer to adjacent properties, provide shade, canopy, and use native plants to improve habitat. The applicant, its successors, and/or signs shall maintain the landscaping at the site for the duration of the use. 9, noise and air quality. The applicant shall comply with the city's noise ordinance and shall comply with all state and federal requirements governing air quality and emissions. 10, lighting. Exterior lighting at the site shall be downward facing, shielded to minimize impacts on neighboring properties, and shall comply with all applicable laws. 11, signs. Signage at the site shall comply with the city sign ordinance. 12, compliance with applicable laws. The applicant agrees to comply with all municipal, state, and federal rules, regulations, and ordinances as they may apply to the construction, maintenance, and operation of the use. And 13, recording of decision. In accordance with the provisions of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 48, Section 11, the applicant at its expense shall record this special permit in the Middlesex South Registry of Deeds after the city clerk has certified that the 20-day period for appealing the special permit has elapsed and no appeal has been filed. And before the applicant has applied to the building commissioner for a building permit, upon recording, the applicant shall forthwith provide a copy of the recorded special permit to the City Council office, the building department, and the city solicitor's office.
Thank you, Mr. Kerrigan. Council Oram, if it helps you at all, the draft conditions that went to Urban Affairs in their package has the item for hours listed. The hours of operation for the use of site shall remain the same as the current car wash, which is open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. So I'm assuming the solicitor just tweaked the words to say it's got open 24/7. But that's what was discussed back at Urban Affairs at the meeting.
Mr. President, could we put a condition on the hours that they offered to operate, or is versus 24/7?
You can do anything you want if you get the votes.
Understandable. I would ask for the amendment to this to include the hours that were noted by the applicant, not the 24/7. It concerns me because...
But the applicant said it was 24/7.
Oh, he is wanting to?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was trying...
No, he said the current hours, which are 24/7.
They are, okay. Yeah, okay, thank you. I have a concern with that, so my vote will reflect it.
Okay, thank you, Council Orm. Any other questions or comments from the councilors? Hearing none, this is a special permit. It's a roll call vote. I will ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Counselor Irish.
Yes.
Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Counselor Naven.
Yes.
Counselor Roby.
Yes.
Counselor Vital.
Yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Yes.
Counselor Fucillo.
Yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Yes.
Counselor Preciado.
Yes.
Counselor Orem.
No.
9 yea, 1 nay, sir.
The motion to approve the special permit at 27 Curtis Ave is approved with 9 in favor, 1 opposed. Agenda item 30.
Order number 25-100-9433C, application for a special permit from Attorney Gemma Cashman on behalf of TV Marlboro LLC and Green Armory Laboratories, Inc., for the purpose of operating an independent marijuana testing laboratory to be located at 260 Cedar Hill Street. Recommendation of the Urban Affairs Committee is to approve.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move the recommendation of committee to approve the new marijuana laboratory.
Motion's made and seconded to approve the special permit for the new marijuana testing facility. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, it's a special permit, so it's required to read the conditions. I will ask the clerk to please read the conditions.
City Council, pursuant to its authority under Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 48, and the zoning ordinance of the City of Marlborough, hereby grants the application for a special permit to the applicant in order to authorize the operation of a marijuana independent testing laboratory at 260 Cedar Hill Street, subject to the following conditions, which conditions shall be binding on the applicant and successors and/or signs. 1, construction in accordance with applicable laws. Construction is to be in accordance with all applicable building codes and zoning regulations in effect in the City of Marlborough and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and shall be built according to the plans. 2, compliance with applicable laws. The applicant agrees to comply with all municipal, state, and federal rules, regulations, and ordinances as they may apply to the construction, maintenance, and operation of the use at the site. 3, site plan review. The use at the site is further subject to site plan review in accordance with the City of Marlborough Site Plan Review Ordinance prior to the issuance of the occupancy permit, as required by Article 6, Section 650-32E of the zoning ordinance. Any additional changes, alterations, modifications, or amendments as required during the process of site plan review shall be further conditions attached to the building permit, and no final occupancy permit shall be issued until the applicant has complied with all conditions. Site plan review shall be consistent with the conditions of this special permit, and the materials submitted, reviewed, and approved by the City Council as the special permit granting authority. 4, incorporation of submissions. All plans, photo renderings, site evaluations, briefs, and other documentation provided by the applicant as part of the application and is amended or revised during the application hearing process before the City Council and/or City Council's Urban Affairs Committee are herein incorporated into and become part of this special permit and become conditions and requirements of the same unless otherwise altered by the City Council. 5, compliance with state requirements. In accordance with Article 5, Section 650-1847C of the zoning ordinance, the use at the site shall comply with all statutes and regulations of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts for the licensure and operation of an independent testing laboratory. 6, security. A, the applicant shall maintain the security at the site in accordance with the applicable Massachusetts Cannabis Control Commission requirements for an independent testing laboratory. The applicant shall provide a written security plan to be approved and signed by the Marlborough Police Chief or his designee. Any substantive changes to the security plan shall receive written approval from the police chief or his designee. B, the applicant shall maintain the designated laboratory and storage area as a secured and limited access area at the site. C, the applicant shall maintain surveillance cameras capable of 24-hour video recording and archiving recordings. 7, processing and odors. There shall be no processing or manufacturing of marijuana or marijuana-infused products as part of the use at the site. Marijuana and marijuana products shall be prepackaged and sealed prior to arriving at the site. Any odors associated with marijuana and marijuana-infused products shall be limited to the interior of the unit. There shall be no on-site consumption or use of marijuana or marijuana-infused products associated with the use at the site. 8 hours. The maximum hours of operation of the use at the site shall be Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. 9, contact information. The applicant shall provide current contact information of management and staff to the Chief of Police, the Fire Chief, the Building Commissioner, and the City Council. 10, annual reports. The applicant shall submit to the City Council the same annual reports. They must be provided to the Massachusetts Cannabis Control Commission. 11, inspections and records. The applicant shall make the use available for regular inspections by city officials or their agents, and shall provide city officials or their agents with access to the same records which are available for inspection to the Massachusetts Cannabis Control Commission. 12, background checks. The applicant shall require that employees undergo a criminal background check, including but not limited to query and an additional background check by the police chief, who shall have the authority to disapprove the employment of any person or persons as a result of said background check. 13, retail sales. There shall be no retail sales permitted at the site. And finally, 14, recording of decision. In accordance with with the provisions of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 11. The applicant at its expense shall record this special permit in the Middlesex South Registry of Deeds after the city clerk has certified that the 20-day period for appealing the special permit has elapsed and no appeal having been filed, and before the applicant has applied to the building commissioner for a building permit. Upon recording, the applicant shall forthwith provide a copy of the recorded special permit to the city council office, the building department, and the city solicitor's office.
Well done, Mr. Kerrigan.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you've all heard the list of conditions. Any further discussion on the special permit for the marijuana testing facility on Cedar Hill Street? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Councilor Navin.
Yes.
Councilor Fucillo.
Yes.
Councilor Oram.
Yes.
Councilor Roby.
Yes.
Councilor Irish.
Yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Yes.
Councilor Vidal.
Yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Yes.
Councilor Preciado.
Yes.
Councilor Brown.
Yes.
10 yeas, sir.
The special permit for the marijuana testing lab at Cedar Hill Street is approved by a vote of 10-0. Agenda item 31.
Order number 25-100-9434C, application for a special permit from Attorney Gemma Cashman on behalf of Royal 401 Elm Street LLC for the purpose of operating an approximate 203,500 square foot warehousing and distribution facility to be located at 415 Elm Street. Recommendation of the Urban Affairs Committee is to approve as amended.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move the recommendation of committee to approve.
So, a couple of things, but I guess I'll hold that before it gets seconded. This is 401 Elm Street. We got a communication from the attorney asking that the vote be postponed until our next meeting on September 8th. And we got a communication from Councilor Preciado looking to amend it. So there's a what process would you like to take, Councilor Roby? I don't want to be stuck having to vote on it at the request of the attorney.
I was going to wait until the amendments were brought forward. If the amendments carry, then my suggestion it would be that this get referred back to the solicitor and be put on the agenda of August, September.
Okay.
I am not in favor of postponing this so that the applicant can speak to the city council. They've had their opportunity through the public hearing, through the urban affairs meetings. I think everybody knows how they're going to vote, and we should just move forward, which I guess we would be doing depending on what happens with the amendments.
Okay, so motion's been made and seconded to approve the special permit. Councilor Preciado.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to request for suspension of the rules to submit the following amendments to the special permit. Number one, deed restriction of the remainder of the property for conservation purposes. The remainder of the subject property not currently developed or planned for development shall be placed under a deed restriction in perpetuity. This deed restriction shall ensure that the undeveloped portion of the property is preserved as open space and placed into conservation. Number two, contribution to Conservation Maintenance Trust Fund. A monetary contribution in the amount of $15,000 will be made to the Conservation Maintenance Trust Fund account. This contribution will be used specifically for the maintenance and stewardship of conservation lands in accordance with the guidelines established by the City of Marlborough's Conservation Commission. I'd also like to send this to solicitor to put in proper legal format if it once it gets voted on.
Motion's made and seconded. Let's start first to amend the special permit by adding these two conditions. So motion's been made and seconded to add them. Open the floor up for discussion. Is there any discussion? Councilor Fucillo.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am in favor of these two amendments. My one question would be regarding the contribution to the maintenance of the trust fund. Is this a one-time contribution that would be made? In the language, I wasn't sure if this was a one-time contribution. Could I ask that question through the president to the council?
Yes, Councilor, there would be a one-time $15,000 going into Conservation Maintenance Trust Fund.
Thank you, Mr. President. That's my only question.
Thank you, Councilor Fucillo. Any other comments? Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. This proposed project is in my ward, Ward 4, and I have done a lot of work reaching out to some members of Site Plan, Conservation Commission, and just circling back to some of the residents. And I cannot support this this project, even with Councilor Preciado's very thoughtful amendments. I thank you for thinking of them, but I take big issue with the fact that it's 24/7. Once something like this is issued, a special permit, we can't go back on that. So I just really would feel awful for people who, it's a very residential area with Elm Street, Berlin Road, Felton, and we can't just take that back. But from another standpoint with, one of my, I guess, personal hobby since being on the council has been more of the finance aspect. I just don't see how this type of a property would really, I could get more excited for it if I thought that it would add more to our tax base, because I just see this type of a building not having any property in it that we would be able to apply personal property tax to. I imagine maybe they'd have some forklifts, but it would just be goods kind of coming and going, but nothing really housed there. And then with the consideration of the toll it might take on our roads and excise tax, I just don't believe many of the commercial vehicles will be even registered to Massachusetts. So I just don't think we would see any benefit of excise tax from the traffic that would come and go. From reading the communications from the folks on site plan, it felt like some people had lingering concerns, and I absolutely feel that although they issued the approval, I just don't think anybody's really excited for it. So just based on those things, I, as a ward councillor, can't support it. Thank you.
Okay, again, this is on, the discussion now is on the amendment, okay? So, well said, but the discussion now is on the amendment. Is there any other discussion on the amendment to the special permit? Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Well thought out, Councilor Passadio. So I thought this is reasonable proposals. They're not necessarily outrageous considering the size and scope of the project to add these amendments. So I'm in full support of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Doucette. Anyone else? Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do appreciate Councilor Preciado's work and understand his desire to add these two. I will support them, but I will not support the order when it comes to a final vote. If it passes, then these would be good language. But I will point out that it's interesting that they're willing to give us $15,000 to be used for conservation, yet they're going to be clear-cutting the property as much as they can for this building that they're putting in. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Roby. Anyone else? Councilor Irish.
Just a clarification, Mr. President, for one moment. This is only on...
The vote before you right now is just on the amendment. It's not on the special permit.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome. Councilor Orm.
Thank you, Mr. President. I stand to talk about the amendments. Good effort. I would suggest, though, that the effort doesn't talk about, as was questioned earlier, the amount of $15,000 being a one-time deal. And as a counselor, I'm a little bit offended, not by the counselor who sponsored this, but by maybe the applicant that suggested it. It almost sounds like I'm hearing that money might matter. In this case, in my view, the constituents matter. The Ward 4 counselor already noted the constituents' concerns. So I would say a good effort, but I can't support either the amendments based on the value of how I feel they're being presented by the applicant through the counselor. I will not support this based on, as we said earlier, 24/7. That's a lot of nighttime driving through these neighborhoods, but that is separate, and I'll bring that up at the time of the vote. Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilor Preciado.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to address the council in saying that I spoke with the developer about these amendments, and this is what I had proposed, putting it into conservation. I had also proposed a monetary amount. They came at 10. We agreed on 15. I wish we could get more. In all honesty, I do not support this project in full, but in case it does pass, these would be great amendments to the special permit, just to have some kind of monetary fund going into our conservation and have that land be protected in perpetuity. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Preciado. Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. With this being about the amendment, I will support the amendments just in case that this does end up coming to fruition when it goes to a full council vote. I think that having these couple of added amendments in would be beneficial. Thank you, Councilor Preciado. Thank you, President Ossing.
Councilor Brown. Anyone else? Councilor Vital.
Thank you, Councilor, for your work. I think it's important that and I also hear what Councilor Oram mentions about this body taking in money for special projects. And I think one of our priorities should be is to, how is conservation more important than seniors? Tax rates. How are, there are lots of very important issues that impact our city right now. And I think before we start asking for things, we should probably try to put some priority to them. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Vital. Councilor Preciado.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will defend that point. Seniors do need a great big tax break. Unfortunately, what they propose on doing at this plot of land is removing a substantial amount of green space, animal habitat, environmental buffers in many ways. So I saw this way of giving back what they would be taking away. In future projects, it would be great to have some kind of a senior tax incentive or fund to take from developers and have them submitted to those accounts. But for this, main specific purpose is to hopefully give back what they're taking away. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Preciado. Anyone else? On the motion to approve the two amendments to the special permit presented by Councilor Preciado, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the amendments? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All those opposed? 1, how did I not count right?
Count yourself?
Oh, count me, 9, all right. Yeah, I guess if I don't count myself, it makes it easy. All right, so the amendment is passed by a vote of 9-1. Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. So in light of there being amendments, I would move to refer this back to the solicitor to be re-put in proper form, including these, to be on our next agenda.
Motion's made and seconded to refer this back to the solicitor, put in proper format with the two conditions offered by Councilor Preciado. Any discussion on the motion? Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Just so that I understand as far as process goes, everything we talked about before is actually voting on this isn't going to happen until the next meeting.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
That's okay. On the motion, refer back to the solicitor, put in proper format. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries to go back to the solicitor. The vote is 9-1 with 1 abstention. Okay, going back to item number 2.
I forgot what it was. Now it's time for the public hearing on the application for a special permit from Attorney Brian Falk on behalf of Farm Road Realty Trust and Evangelist Roofing to operate a contractor's yard in a pre-existing non-conforming building in the Airport Industrial Park at 17 Airport Boulevard, Unit 20, or number 25-100, 9512.
Okay, this public hearing will be conducted in 4 stages. Public speaking in favor, starting with the applicant, questions from the public, public speaking in opposition, and finally questions from the City Council. So we'll open the first part of the public hearing with the public speaking in favor, starting with the applicant. Please state your name and address for the record.
Thank you, President Ossing and councilors. And thank you to the council and my clients for their patience in postponing these hearings while I was stuck up with the planning board on another matter. Attorney Brian Falk with Myrick, 100 Front Street in Worcester, here on behalf of the applicant and owner, Farm Road Realty Trust, and operator Evangelist Roofing. With me tonight from Evangelist Roofing is owner Ted Evangelist. This is an application, as was mentioned, for a special permit for a contractor's yard at 17 Airport Boulevard in the Airport Industrial Park. Mr. Clerk, do you have the clicker? Can you just say yes and I'll move it? Sure. That is quicker. So up on the screen, you have an aerial of the site. Airport Industrial Park, as you may know, is actually a commercial condominium. All the buildings and sites are individual units in the condominium on a single lot, with Airport Boulevard being a common driveway for access. Our site is the only one, when this was built out, that had an existing building, a former hangar at the airport. As a result, the building is pre-existing non-conforming structure close to the property's lot lines. Next slide, please. And this is the view from Airport Boulevard of the site and the renovated hangar building. Ted Evangelos purchased the use, the use area, in 2021. Evangelos Roofing would share the building with tenant Gutter Boys, each having access to the building for storage of construction materials, roofing materials and gutter materials. The parking area would hold vehicles, business vehicles after hours and employee vehicles during business hours. Next slide, please. And this is our site plan. It's an as-built showing existing conditions. As again, this is already existing built site. The use area has 12 parking spaces plus the building, landscaping, and stormwater infrastructure. The applicant received a determination and an enforcement request from the building department that this use required a special permit as a contractor's yard. So we're here looking to get into compliance like the 3 other landscaper and contractor yards that are in the industrial park now and operating. We believe this proposal meets the legal standards for a special permit and a Section 6 finding for the pre-existing non-conforming structure. We met with the site plan committee on August 14th last week to discuss the plan and to gather comments for the council. Look forward to working with the council and the Urban Affairs Committee, and happy to take your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Falk. Any other members of the public speaking in favor? Any other members of the public speaking in favor? Any other members of the public speaking in favor? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. Questions from the public? Any questions from the public? Any questions from the public? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. Public speaking in opposition? Any members of the public speaking in opposition? Members of the public speaking in opposition? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. Questions from the city councilors? Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much. Keep an eye on how the boulevard has progressed in development. So this is taken over in existing buildings. There's no structural changes whatsoever. It's just in use.
That's correct. The exterior was improved a number of years ago. There may be some interior renovations, but the site is as is.
Okay. Is there going to be any storage outside the building of loam or mulch or anything else like that around here? Or?
There wouldn't be, because it's a contractor's yard, not a landscaper's yard. So there would be building materials inside, but the way the site, as you can see, doesn't really have a rear to be storing those materials anyway. So it's essentially vehicles on the parking areas and then materials indoors.
Okay, so from the outside, there'll be nothing stored outside, or will be stored more or less inside the building. Okay, thank you for that. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Councilor Doucette. Councilor Vital.
Thank you, Mr. President. Will any retail activity be taking place from this position?
No, Councilor Vital. Just a base of operations for these 2 contractors to have their office, store materials, and keep their vehicles.
Limited amount of traffic then?
Right. The cars in would be employees coming to start their day, and then vehicles going out to construction sites as needed.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Vital. Councilor Oram.
Thank you, Mr. President. Question on the lot line you pointed out, which shows it on the first page. Is this a viable lot with that being on someone else's lot, or do you own the other lot?
Want to go to the first picture?
It shows the yellow line going through the back of the building there. You mentioned it.
Sure, Councilor Orm. So it's an illustration. It comes from the city's GIS. That's not necessarily a surveyed lot line. It's just what shows on the GIS. But the site plan we had up was a surveyed plan, and the building's all located on the lot and within Mr. Evangelos' exclusive use area.
Okay. I'd be approving something and then have the abutter say, wait a minute, that's on our property as well. But as this plan showing now, it obviously is right a little bit off of it, so, thank you. I was concerned we're approving something that might not be a legal lot. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Council Oram. Anyone else? Council Roby.
Thank you. Just to clarify, if I wanted to hire either of these to do roofing or guttering, I would not be going to the building on Airport Drive to look at roofing?
That's correct.
Where would I look at that sort of stuff? Do they have an office somewhere else?
So they go to the project site, to the home, to the building. This is not an operation for customers to come. It's not a showroom. It's not a retail operation by any means.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the councilors? Questions from the councilors? Questions from the councilors? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing and the entire public hearing, and this is in Urban Affairs.
Thank you very much.
Agenda item number 3.
Now is the time for the public hearing on the application for a special permit from Attorney Brian Falk on behalf of First Choice Auto Service and Sales Incorporated to modify the pre-existing non-conforming auto repair use by adding automobile sales as an accessory use at the property located at 299 Maple Street, order number 25-100-9513.
Okay, this public hearing will be taken up in the same 4 stages. Public speaking in favor, starting with the applicant, then questions from the public, public speaking in opposition, and finally questions from the city council. So I will open the first part of the public hearing with the public speaking in favor, starting with the applicant. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Thank you, President Ossing, councilors. Attorney Brian Falk with Myrick, 100 Front Street in Worcester, here on behalf of the applicant First Choice Auto Services. With me are owners David Henriquez and Annalie Pina. David and Ainley have been in business for over 3 years. Like many repair shops, they are often asked by customers to buy or sell cars. To pursue those opportunities, this special permit would allow them to add Class 2 used auto sales as an accessory use to their existing auto repair use. Next slide, please. So this is the site, 299 Maple Street. It's in the Commercial Automotive Zoning District. You can see this site highlighted in yellow right towards the middle of the zoning map. And this is an image of the front of the property along Maple Street. This is a pre-existing non-conforming use. It predates the special permit requirement for auto uses on lots of less than 1 acre. This has been an active auto operation for decades. Again, David and Ainley took over and started their business here 3 years ago. It's also a pre-existing non-conforming building and site on a few different dimensional categories. Next slide, please. This is our site plan, a survey. Building along the northern lot line, and the site itself is just over 6,000 square feet. Next, please. So this is a zoomed out view of the front of the site. The plan is to have 3 to 5 cars for sale at any given time, depending upon inventory. They'd be parked on the north end of the site along Maple. So where you see cars on the right side of this image is where David and Ainley have in mind to put cars that are for sale. In addition to this special permit, the use would require a Class 2 license from the licensing board. So that's an annual renewal, it's an annual license, and by statute has a lot of detailed rules that auto sales operators must comply with, and it's subject to annual renewal. So there's a built-in mechanism for the city beyond just this special permit. On an annual basis, the licensing board will be looking to see how they operate and are they in compliance with the rules for auto sales operations. We met with the city site plan committee last week, August 14th, and received some comments from department heads. One thing site plan committee requested was a striping plan to show how cars would be organized on the site. We're working on that. We don't have it for you now. We just learned about this request on Thursday, but we'll work to get you that plan so you can see essentially how cars would be parked on the site and the general organization of the site. There's also a request to see what we could do in terms of greening the site up. David and Ainley are tenants here, so their options in terms of what site improvements they can do are limited. But one idea we had was to add some planters along the sidewalk area, would provide some greenery, some landscaping along that stretch of Maple Street, and help beautify the site and provide some demarcation between the sidewalk and their property. David and Ainley are excited at the opportunity to expand their business here in Marlboro. We thank you for your time and look forward to your questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Attorney Falk. Mr. Kerrigan, Councilor Kerrigan.
Yes, President Ossing, just for the record, there were 5 letters of support that were received by the council for this project, and they will be entered into the record.
Thank you. Any other members of the public speaking in favor? Any other members of the public speaking in favor? Any members of the public speaking in favor? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. Questions from the public? Any questions from the public? Any questions from the public? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. Public speaking in opposition? Any members of the public speaking in opposition? Members of the public speaking in opposition? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. Questions from the city councilors? Councilor Navin.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you, Attorney Falk, for being here. Thank you for your application. Real quick, I was happy to hear of site plans request for a striping plan. It's a good photo that captures kind of this part of Maple Street and then also up and down Maple Street. So a delineation would be helpful. I definitely think beautification of the site would be helpful, something we'd look forward to, recognizing that as you're not the property owner, it'd be a little bit of a challenge. The other part, it would be nice to see if we could do something about is the left-hand side, so the southern-facing side, just a way to delineate the property as well. I don't know if the property owner also owns the building, the lot directly to the south of it, but if not, it would be nice to be able to kind of square that off a little bit, and so that this area is well kept to both highlight your business and the ability for auto sales while not letting it spread or kind of evolve into a potential blight or a nuisance in the future. So look forward to it coming to Urban. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Navin. Councilor Oram.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I mentioned 24/7 twice tonight, and I'm going to ask the same question about this lot. I know they don't own it, but it appears to be on someone else's property, part of the building.
Councilor Oram, there is, from the survey, we identified, again, there are tenants in this building. They're as surprised as anyone. There is an encroachment, it appears, of the building onto, that's property of the Commonwealth. As a zoning matter, it is well over 10 years. So in terms of as an enforcement matter for zoning purposes, it's not there. Whether there's an adverse possession claim with respect to the building, I don't know. But from my perspective, from a special permit and a zoning matter, that encroachment, isn't in play.
Okay, and another question would be, the applicants do not own the building, so this would only apply to the present applicants, correct? If we grant this special permit, it wouldn't apply to the owner of the building, would it?
Well, special permits do run with the land unless they're conditioned otherwise. So this would be a special permit that would allow as an accessory use, again, not the primary use, not the principal use, as an accessory use to auto repairs, up to 5 cars of Class 2 used auto sales. It would run with the property unless conditioned otherwise.
So it will run with, if they leave the business, someone else could move in and have the 5 cars for sale opportunity?
That's correct, so long as they're able to get a Class 2 license and one renewed each year from the licensing board.
And I travel this road at least 3 times a week, moving from Marlboro into a few other towns. And I appreciate and will hope to see the beautification part of it. The registry, the old registry, I just complained about that only a week ago. This is our entrance to Marlboro. You want people to get in there too, and I agree with the planters to do the best you can with the space you have, but I would expect to see that as a part of the approval. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Oram. Any other comments? Councilor Preciado.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for being here in your application. Good evening, Attorney Falk. I have some concerns for this permit. Mostly the amount of just vehicles that are stationed at the lot. Currently, that lot is full to the brim from side to side with cars already, despite what this picture shows. I drive by there quite often. I've actually used your services as a mechanic before, so thank you for your services. But I cannot support this as a place to sell autos, mostly because it is, like my counselor said, to the left of me, it is an entrance to the city. We already have a giant auto mile leading into the city. I would not like it to continue, past where it is right now. It is also next to, I believe, it might be a small little wetland or a brook, which flows into a stream that flows into the Sudbury Reservoir. I don't know if you're aware, but that's right next to their property. I know there are cars that are right next to that. So that is an environmental concern for me. But I guess that's all I have for now, and we'll see you at Urban.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilor Preciado. Go ahead if you want to respond.
I appreciate those comments. What I would say is, it's a pre-existing non-conforming auto repair use, and that would continue. And in terms of, a striping plan, beautification, those would be conditions of this special permit. The lot doesn't lend itself to more cars. The intent here is that there would be the same number or fewer cars. Some of them would be for sale, others would be for use. And I appreciate your comments. I don't disagree that in some recent weeks there have been a large number of cars on the site. So one of the things David and Ainley do is, they get cars in from dealers often who don't have on-site mechanics, or they would prefer to outsource to them. So sometimes they don't have, they suddenly get a lot of cars coming in. So one of the things with this special permit would be an opportunity for both the council and the licensing board to say something about the number of cars, versus if this doesn't go through, it's not currently a zoning issue because there's no restriction on the number of cars on site now.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And my concern with the amount of cars there is that they are there for repairs and they will leave. If they're there for sale, they might be there lingering longer. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Preciado. Any other? Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, Attorney Falk. For security measures, what is the lighting schematics for this property?
Yeah, there's existing exterior lighting there now, but in terms of, it's not currently regulated beyond what was installed years ago. So we can certainly, address that through a special permit if that's a concern.
For having used cars, people would be looking. I was just curious of that.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you, Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Irish. Any other councilors? Councilor Ficillo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just one question of clarification. First, looking forward to seeing your presentation before Urban. But with the Class 2 license from the licensing board, that is an annual license that they have to go before. It's not something that the licensing board would reach out and call. Like this is an annual thing that they have to come before the licensing board for.
That's correct. They'll initially have to apply for a license for the first time at a hearing. There's then renewals. I believe the licensing board is kind enough to send out notices to all the licensees, hey, you need to get your application in for renewal. Don't miss this deadline. But it's a license. It's not a property right. It doesn't run with the property, doesn't vest with the property. So every year it could be subject to non-renewal. And there's case law on that point that it's not a property right. If it's not renewed, that's the end of the story. If you're not complying with the rules of the licensing board and statute, you don't keep your license.
Right. So if the property were to change hands, that owner would still have to go before the licensing board to get that license every single year.
That is correct. The license isn't transferable. It would have to, a new, just like with a liquor license application, a new license would have to be transferred by vote of the license board to the new operator.
Thank you. Thank you, Attorney Falk. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Ficillo. Anyone else? Councilor Obi.
Thank you, Mr. President. As you mentioned, Attorney Falk, this was at site plan. I was not able to attend, but I did get some notes about the meeting, and I guess typically this is a little different from a typical site plan and then us waiting for site plan to give us their opinions. And I'm not sure how it's all going to work when the notes indicate that site plan was concerned with approving this because of the encroachment on the state land. So if we approve a special permit, but site plan doesn't approve a site plan, what happens?
And I appreciate you weren't at the meeting. The encroachment question came up. I gave essentially the same answer that I gave here, that as a zoning matter and as a permitting matter, from my perspective, it's not relevant. I don't know that the site plan committee would have authority to not grant site plan approval on that basis if a special permit was already granted. You could certainly talk to the legal department about that. The main concerns we heard at site plan pertain to a striping plan to show the spaces and some level of improvements to the beautification, which those are we'll be providing you with a line plan of the site, and I think planters along the sidewalk would work well within the scope of what the tenant's able to do.
Was it your understanding that you were going back to site plan, or not until there is clarification whether there's a special permit?
Site plan was looking to see a striping plan and updates from us before they gave comments. We would likely go back to site plan for a formal review after the special permit.
Okay, I'm just wondering how long we're waiting for site plan to do their work, if they're expecting you to come back first and then they'll be giving us their opinion or their comments. So we'll see how long the process takes to get the information from site plan, and then I can hold an urban affairs meeting and we can have discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Roby. Anyone else? Council Vital.
Thank you, Mr. President. So right now, as a repair shop, they can put any old beaten up old cars on the right side of the facility, correct?
Cars that are there for repairs, yes.
Right. And if this goes through, they're going to have newer cars that are shiny trying to be sold, correct?
That's the plan. Cars that would be for sale would be on the northern corner of the
On the right side of the building.
Yeah.
And there'll be planters out in front.
That's
so
correct.
Shiny cars and planters, or cruddy cars that need to be repaired. Those are our options.
It's a fair summary.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Council Vital. Any other comments or questions from the councilors? Comments or questions from the councilors? Comments or questions from the councilors? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing and the entire public hearing. This matter is in urban affairs.
Thank you very much.
Councilor Navin.
Move to adjourn.
Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor? Opposed? We are adjourned at, Steve just took my time off, 9:21. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.